Well, what we're doing is, the budget passed, and before the budget happens, we do these budget town halls in every district of the county, and we hear what people think we ought to be spending their tax dollars on. And this time we're coming out after the budget. I think it's a pretty good budget, and talking about some of the stuff in each district that's going to be happening as a result of what's in the budget. And this location right here is one of those places. And in fact, this is part of the Rec and Parks budget, and we actually did really well, I think, this year, both in getting some state money. Thank you, Delegate Kipke. Overall, for Rec and Parks, we ended up with another $9 million that we didn't expect at the end to put into all of our parks. And we have actually 47 capital projects around the county for Rec and Parks. And I think that our parks are one of the greatest things about this county, and that they help not only in terms of open space and nature and all that good stuff, but we're all a lot healthier when we get out and about at places like this. So I think that's a good investment. But we also put, we kind of had a good year, because if you remember, beginning of the last budget, we thought that because of COVID, there wasn't going to be any money, that the revenues would be way down in the county. And so we really tightened the belt, and we cut what we were going to do by a lot. And then the economy did better than we expected during COVID. And then the federal government stepped in with some help. The state government stepped in, and we ended up with a surplus at the end of that year because of the way we budgeted. And so what we did in this last budget was we were able to do more in the capital budget. We paid up front $65 million of our capital budget rather than having to go out and borrow the money and pay interest on it with bonds. And we were also able to put some money into the rainy day fund for the future. So I think our county is in good shape going forward, so that at least our taxes won't go up. Likely, they probably won't go down either. But the fact that we've got a really solid base to our budget and a rainy day fund means that we're in really good shape going forward. But we were also able to one of the things that I've tried to do is make sure that our public safety is well funded. So our fire department had firefighters going out with not enough on the apparatuses to be able to meet the national standards of what we should do, and it wasn't safe. And so we have actually increased the fire department's budget 40%, believe it or not, with new firefighters. We've got their pay up to the level of the region over the last few years. And we've done something similar with the police department, where they've actually increased 22% in their budget, an additional $31 million. And we got them a good contract this year with the police officers. So they're getting paid as much as our neighbors. And that's really important, because it's not easy to recruit police officers these days. And so paying them a decent wage is one of the most important things we can do. For this area, we'll get to Greenhaven Wharf and how that happened in a minute, and I'm going to ask Delegate Kipke to come up and talk about how he did his piece of that. For this area, we have Grays Creek and Hunter Harbor dredging for $520,000, Rock Creek DMP site rehab, which is where a lot of the dredging material goes, making room for more with $430,000. We did the Cox Creek piping for $1.9 million, and then we did a lot of sidewalks around schools, so that kids can walk to and from school or bike to and from school with more safely, near High Point Elementary, George Fox, and Northeast High School. That was something that was big in the budget town halls, and I was just thrilled that we were able to put $6.8 million into one project for that, and then another project, the Solly Road shared use path for almost $3 million. And then, I got here a little bit late because Route 2 kind of is a terrible place to drive this time of day, and the traffic was really bad, so we were late. And so for both the Route 2 and Route 3 corridors, what we did in our first budget was we created this fund for permanent public improvements. And for that corridor, we dangled money in front of the state highway folks. It's a state road, and that's brought them to the table. And now we have an agreement to deal with some of the failing intersections. We have intersections on the Route 2 corridor that are getting an F, which means there's a lot of traffic. And so now there's a plan to add some lanes and open up the traffic and get it moving along there. We'll see how well it works. And then the other thing that is very important to me that is our teachers, and I think we're going to hear some of what we've done in that, making sure that they're getting paid, what our neighbors are getting paid, so we have great teachers and we have enough teachers to have a great public school system in the county. But this Greenhaven Wharf is gonna look a little bit better this time next year. I think hopefully it'll be done by this time next year. We had it in our capital budget. We had about $300,000 to upgrade this, but it was in the out years, and to make some improvements, just to give it a facelift. And then Delegate Kipke came in. We're lucky to have I almost said the majority leader, the minority leader in the House. Wouldn't you like that? Come in with a request for money for this, and went to the speaker, and we all thought it was a great idea. So another $250,000, and we're able to get it started more quickly. And so we may hear about some of the details of what that's going to be. I know the benches and I think everything is going to be upgraded, and the parking area upgraded, and definitely the launch over there, the kayak launch, is going to be improved. Some work on the hillside here, and I know some of you live close by, and I want to commit to you that Rec and Parks is going to talk to you before they get out here and do any work, and talk about the design of everything that they do, so you'll have some input into what we do, because we don't want to build something that you don't like if you live near it. And the other part of it is make sure that we have police patrols aware of what's going on down here and coming by often enough to be able to try to keep this from being a location for bad stuff happening. So I will stop with that. Let some other folks speak about what we're doing. But let me start with our House Minority Leader, or has been. You were this year, Delegate Nick Kipke.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. County Executive. It's a real exciting moment for me to be here with the residents of Greenhaven. I know people in Greenhaven often feel forgotten and ignored. I've heard that many times, whether it relates to their roads or different school issues. And I want to commend Valerie Fox, who has done a tremendous job to really put some fight and vigor into the community association, and this project that's before you really has a lot to do with her efforts. She had been sort of in my ear and in Councilman Volke's ear about the neglect of this county-owned park. You know, this isn't a neighborhood park; it's a county entity, and if you look around, it really needs a lot of love. And if you come down here at just about any hour, you'll see people fishing off the pier and off the sides here, and are launching kayaks and really enjoying themselves. And frankly, after the year that we've all had, this is the kind of place where people found peace of mind, to break away from the stress that has been what we've experienced. And I'm grateful to the Speaker of the House for allowing us to put this into the capital budget. I appreciate the county executive and the council for keeping the dollars for this capital project. This really will become a nice little gem of the Greenhaven community, and I'm hopeful that it'll get more utilization from folks even beyond. So thank you, County Exec. Thanks to the council. Thanks for the leadership in the House of Delegates and the Maryland General Assembly, and the governor for supporting this project. It was supported by all the members of our delegation. Councilman Volke was very supportive. We had lights installed recently, an effort to get the blacktop resurfaced. And of course, Senator Simon-Air and Delegate Chisholm both support the project as well. But really, the credit is due to Valerie Fox, who is the leader of this community association. All of you that rally around her to help her with that effort, I want you to know that her voice for you in this community is the reason these dollars were put into the state's capital budget. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for voting for that budget. So unfortunately, Valerie wasn't feeling well, and it just came down and then left just before we got started. But we do have with us Kate Snyder here from the Teachers Association of Anne Arundel County, and to talk to you a little bit about what the budget did for teachers.
Jacques Barzon once said, "In teaching, you cannot see the fruit of a day's work. It is invisible, and remains so maybe for 20 years. The same is true for education funding." Good evening. My name is Kate Snyder. I've lived in Anne Arundel County for, well over 50 years, and I've been teaching for AACPS for 20 plus years as a history teacher. Teaching Anne Arundel County's incredible kids is an honor, and I love doing what I do. I am also the Vice President of the Teachers Association of Anne Arundel County. TAC, as we are known, represents more than teachers. We also represent counselors, school psychologists, pupil personnel workers, related service providers, and many others. And I am delighted to be here this evening because it is so nice to see an administration that truly believes in the importance of education. County Executive Pittman continued in his commitment to supporting teachers through a COLA, a step increase, and funding for $8 million in back steps. We have teachers who have not received steps in 10 years. This helps ensure our educator compensation is competitive with surrounding jurisdictions so that our educators are supported and our schools remain strong. County Executive Pittman included dozens of new positions in his budget for schools, including new positions for Crofton High School, plus new positions across the county to support behavioral health, special education, English language acquisition, and all-day pre-K. Finally, the county executive continued his commitment to ensuring our school buildings, making sure that they get the attention they deserve, with money committed from the Permanent Public Improvement Fund to help move forward with building construction and design work. Thank you, County Executive Pittman, for hosting this event tonight, and thank you for a budget that recognizes the importance of education. We are very excited to see what the future holds with the new blueprint for Maryland, and we look forward to continuing to work with the Pittman administration to ensure that all of our students get the best education. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for everything that all the teachers do for our kids. And finally, we have John Jason with us, who is here to talk about some of the requests and some of what we're going to be able to do in terms of sidewalks and mobility around schools and around Pasadena. Also a representative of One Pasadena. So John?
Thank you, Mr. Pittman. So we heard about how this park is going to be improved and shined up and made more beautiful for everybody to consume it, and that's great. I live about, give or take, a mile away, to the point that I was debating with myself coming down here as to whether or not I was going to walk or I was going to bike, and then I decided it was humid out and I decided to drive. And most people here know Duval Highway, Outing, everything else like that. They know that sidewalks are hard to come by, everything else like that. Well, this county budget fixes that. So we're going to have a plan, if I understand correctly, that will put sidewalks pretty much from the library all the way down to Outing to be able to serve the schools, to serve the new library, to serve this park, to serve Tickneck Park. So this is Nobody can hear me?
I can hear you a little bit, but here,
Okay.
try that a little closer.
Hopefully I don't have to start over. Oh, that's much better. Okay, so we heard about how the county budget is going to do sidewalks and how they're going to improve the Duval corridor and also connect it to the Outing corridor in order to serve George Fox, Northeast High School, and High Point Elementary School. And this will also benefit things like Greenhaven I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought completely. This will benefit places like this wharf by making it more accessible, because people like me who live about a mile away can walk to it. It will make places like the new Riviera Beach Library more accessible because we can get there easily and enjoy it more thoroughly. It will make places like Tickneck Park more accessible to the community because it will now be connected. And this is all due to the initiative and foresight that we found in the county budget. Additionally, with the foresight of the county executive's office, we are now looking at legislation that will allow bikers to share the sidewalks across the county. So not only will people who want to walk Pasadena be safer and have farther to go, but people who want to bike in Pasadena will have these opportunities as well. These are the creative and forward-thinking initiatives that we have come to enjoy, look for, and respect in our county budgets, and we are eagerly awaiting what we will see next year. Thank you.
You'll be able to walk here
I will. I can't wait.
without getting hit by a car. So, yeah, thanks everybody. You know, we want to stick around. I'm going to stick around. Anybody who wants to talk about anything about what should be in the next budget or anything with county stuff, I'd love to hear from you. So, thank you for being here.
Thank you.